And welcome, folks, to week 10 of high school football action on Final Approach Game Day, brought to you by our friends over at Final Approach Irrigation. I am Collin Bester from Mid-Bay News. Christopher Saul will be out today. He is dealing with some illness in his family, so he's being the super dad that he is. But I am a Milton High alum, class of 2013, and I am joined by the enemy today, Heath Rominger and Hunter Brock, Niceville High alums. Gentlemen, I'm pretty sure the show will not be as testy as one might think. Even Milton's got this in the bag tonight, right?
Well, again, I always ask the question, does Mid-Bay News drug test its employees? Because some of the things that are coming out of your orifices there just sounds so ridiculous that I'm like, you've got to be high on something. What is it? Tell me, what are you high on?
Hooked on phonics, my friend. I'm hooked on phonics.
Is it crack, meth, what?
People have been saying that to me for the past couple of days as the Milton Panthers will travel to the Eagles' Nest tonight. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock. Hunter, hopefully we didn't lose him. Hopefully he'll come back sooner rather than later. But it's going to be an interesting time for Milton and Niceville tonight because the winner, Heath, goes on to the playoffs as one of District 1 and 5A's representatives, and the loser tonight will be sitting at home after next week. So
Yep.
I know we're going to be doing a lot of trash talk over the next couple of next hour or so. We have a lot to get to, a lot of games this week that will be deciding either district champions or playoff winners. We have a series of games, if I can find it, because I've never hosted the show before, Christopher. So let me see if I can find it. But we have a lot of games that we will get to. We have Port St. Joe. Actually, it's Baker at Port St. Joe. It's Choctaw at Fort Walton Beach, the 52nd installment of the game. We have Tate versus Crestview. Winner probably goes to the playoffs. We have Booker T. Washington and Destin. The Walton Braves look to end a 6-game losing streak against the Freeport Bulldogs. They are not undefeated. They are 5-2. The Milton Panthers travel to the Eagles' Nest to face the Niceville Eagles. And I think one of the more exciting matchups of the week, Heath, is the 5-6-2 South Walton Seahawks going on the road to Pensacola Catholic to face the 7-1 Crusaders. The winner of that game gets the outright District 1-2A title, and they will go to the playoffs. So at the slate of games ahead of us, Heath, what game stands out to you as probably the one that you're most excited to see that is not Milton Niceville?
Well, I was about to say, Collin, this is an easy one. I'm most excited to see Niceville put the points up on the board and send Milton packing. I gotta say, but away from that though, I think the Catholic and the Seahawks, Catholic's going to take that game. And they're going to clinch their division. So,
Hunter, same question to you. Out of this whole slate of games, which game are you most excited to see this tonight?
Heath stole my thunder. I was interested in the Catholic South Walton game. I actually think South Walton might stand a chance. So I picked them. I'm jumping ahead here, but I picked South Walton this week to see what happens. I think that's who I picked. So I meant to pick.
And the interesting thing about this week is we've incorporated spreads this week. So as we make our picks later in the show, you're seeing all these numbers and clocks for 2 games. These are the spreads from FloridaHighSchoolFootball.com. We'll get into some of these later because I know that you two are very upset about the line that was set for the Milton-Niceville game. If anyone's smoking illicit drugs in North Florida, it should be Josh Wilson from FloridaHighSchoolFootball.com. But we'll get to that first. We have to.
Is he going to be on here to defend himself?
He will not be on here to defend himself, but I will defend his honor for him because I think it should be. I think that's right on the line. But
look, this show to the Comedy Central with that spread. I'm sitting there going, even if Niceville's not even having a bad night, I don't even see it being that far. I mean, it may be like a 1 touchdown if it's lost, but it's not going to sway that way. I'm sorry. Niceville's been gearing up all week for this.
Yeah.
And the Veer is going to get shut down.
We'll see about that. I'll get my opinions on it later in the show. But first, we're going to go to some individual power ratings. We do this every single week. Christopher, who is not here, has put Pace above Choctaw as his team of the week. He has South Walton at 3, Catholic 4, Bay, Mosley, Milton, West Florida Tech, Baker, and Crestview round out his top 10. I'm going to get you guys all on here so we can all talk and see each other. I still have Choctaw as number 1, followed by Pace Catholic and Sowall, and it's right in line with the Florida High School Athletic Association by having Choctaw, Mosley, Catholic, and Milton, who is actually the highest of all the people who've done power rankings for Mid-Bay News this week. Gentlemen, does any of these teams stand out to you as top 10 teams? I know we're towards the bottom. We have a Baker. Christopher and I both have Baker, but they beat Freeport last week, 41-20. Crestview at 10. Right now, they're 4-3, facing off against Tate this weekend. Winner goes to the playoffs as well. Is there anyone that stands out to you on this power ranking sheet?
They all fall right in line with what I would be if I had a vote in this. I think between the three of you guys, you're hitting the nail on the head with that. Although I don't know why Chris is so invested in Pace when Choctaw's just been pure dominating the field. And Pace, yes, but I in a head-to-head with Pace and Choctaw, I picked Choctaw to win all day. Sowall, I think, is a little bit ambitious on everybody, but it's deserving. I wouldn't rank him as high, but especially above Catholic, who's obviously had a phenomenal season. And in Bay, surprisingly, they were slow out the gate, kind of like Crestview. And they've been surprising how well they're doing right now. And and then everything else will fall in line with that. Although FHSAA has Niceville in the top, that you guys are kind of they snubbed Crestview over Niceville. So I'm kind of like going, that's a 50-50 toss up on that one, because Crestview has come out and really showing what they can do with all that talent on the field. So they're having kind of a second half of the season revival, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm. And Hunter?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to see Niceville in the top 10 from FHSAA, but I honestly, I think I kind of would have to agree with you and Christopher a little more. I think, sadly, it pains me to admit, I think Crestview might be a little bit higher ranked than us this year. But I also don't understand why Christopher has Pace above Choctaw.
Yeah, well, Hunter, your microphone's coming in a little staticky. You sound like you're on Apollo mission right now. It's a dated reference for myself, but hopefully...
I got it.
Yeah, thank you, Heath. Sorry. Hopefully we get Hunter back, and he's had microphone issues. I think it's just,
I think it's operator error.
I think it's the electricity around the Eagles' nest tonight as they're on the verge of a playoff spot. But I can tell you exactly why Pace is ahead of Choctaw for Christopher, and I think Christopher has more faith in the Pace offense than he does in the Choctaw offense, which probably put them ahead. We've seen Mikhail Williams, who was out for the past 3 weeks. He came back last week, but for the 3 weeks he was out, it seemed like the Pace offense did not lose a step. Tag Strickenberger, and that Pace offense still had about 100 yards, 150 yards rushing each and every single week. Pace as a team still accrued about 200, 250 yards rushing every single week. So, head-to-head matchups, I think Pace would beat Choctaw simply because I think it's one of the best offenses in the area right now. But it would be a very interesting matchup knowing how good Choctaw's defense is and how good Pace's rushing attack is. It would sort of be the brick wall meets the indomitable force meets the unstoppable object. So it'd be very interesting to see that game. Moving on to some ranked stats and stuff like that, because everyone loves stats. This is really interesting to me because we put together the rushing leaders for week 10. And this is the score comp, which is Mikhail Williams being ahead of every running back in Northwest Florida. But based on total rushing yards, Junior Harris, the Destin running back, is currently number 1 in the Northwest Florida in terms of rushing. Mikhail Williams has missed 3 games, and he's second. He's only 100-ish yards behind Junior Harris in terms of rushing yards. Would you say that Mikhail Williams has had one incredible season, Heath, or has Junior Harris been the bright spot to this Destin team, who sits right now 1-7? They're currently 4-point underdogs to Booker T. Washington tonight. But watching the tape on this young man, has been one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. He's mostly an outside runner, Heath. So basically, he gets to the edge and then he's gone. He has track star speed. So, how do you feel about these rushers so far this year?
Well, I tell you what, I will say I've been a little naive to what's going on outside of the District 5 and some of the county teams here in Okaloosa County. But Destin's been surprisingly with Junior Harris. With Junior Harris, he has seemed to be kind of that Cinderella story. He's been kind of really what keeps him in the game, and to put up the yardage he is. I'm impressed with him, and I wish I would have followed him a little more earlier in the season. And you got Mikkel, obviously just a beast, but that's what their two teams have is they're just having a ground game, not much of a passing game to complement that. So.
Mm-hmm. And it's surprising that as of this moment, as we're recording this live, Junior Harris has no offers that we could find from colleges right now, and he's a senior. I assume there are a lot of college programs who would love a running back with his speed and his caliber to be on their team, and to him not have an offer so far this season is kind of a shame, to be honest, because that kid has put in a lot of work. I know Destin hasn't had things go their way this year. EJ Green coming on as a new head coach. I guess there's some growing pains for Destin, but hopefully they can get those figured out next year. I think the next stat, because I didn't go through these with Christopher.
Well, let me interrupt you real quick on, these kids, I noticed that they do a lot of their own Instagramming, their own highlight reels and things like that with family members and friends. And so I didn't, I haven't reached out to any of those. So I'd be curious to see if he has something out there that, and providing some reels for these colleges to follow, to see if he has a following. I guess Instagram is the best way to go look for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Instagram. I know he has reels. Christopher has the football high school subscription. He is. I would not pay for that at all. Christopher is actually here in the chat because I finally figured out how to pull up the chat up. He believes my computer is smoking drugs or something like that because he's here, and this will probably answer his pace question that we had. Choctaw's defense is superior without question. Pace is pretty good. Pace's offense is exceptional. Choctaw is above average. I like Pace's O-line. So that's why Christopher put Pace ahead of Choctaw, which I get it, but Choctaw currently is 8-0, held opponents to like 28 points so far this year. This is a generational run by this Choctaw defense, something that I don't think we're going to see in Northwest Florida for quite some time in the future. I think that this has been a pretty incredible year by Big Green, and Fort Walton Beach has the mispleasure of facing them next. Moving on to passers. I have not seen this chart as well either. So this is Christopher kind of just left. He's like, hey, this is how this works. And you'll figure it out. But these are the best quarterbacks right now. Xavion Morgan from Bay High School is currently number one in both QBR and yards, almost eclipsing 2,000 yards this season, followed by JP Holzenbake from Mosley, Justice Baldwin from Baker, Jalen Brown from Catholic, who honestly, watching tape on this guy, he is really good. And unfortunately, we don't really talk about Pensacola Catholic a lot because of where we are in Okaloosa and Walton County. They're in Escambia County. But if this Catholic team beats South Walton, they could make a pretty deep playoff run. I think Jalen Brown is getting better and better every single year. Carter Nuns is fifth. Deegan McCoy is basically, which is this is interesting to me, Heath, and maybe we'll get your words on this. But for what Deegan McCoy is doing this season as a sophomore quarterback, first time starter in high school football, he's had some bad plays, he's had some interceptions and things that did not go his way, but overall, for a first year quarterback and a sophomore, I think he's exceeded expectations.
Oh, absolutely. That's a lot of responsibility put on a sophomore to come into a program, especially with a coaching change right before the spring, a lot of new faces. And then, of course, they got pretty much shut out with Choctaw. Crestview pretty much dominated the second half of the game. So you lost a lot of playing time for the offense to be on the field to get these numbers and stats up. But I think if they'd played better against those two programs there, his stats would be right up there and probably in the top 3 or 4, moved up. But I think he's going to have a great next 2 years at Niceville. And if they stay healthy, same thing with the run game. You got a freshman running back. I mean, there's no reason why these guys don't develop into the team that we all want to see Niceville become.
Hunter, your thoughts on Deegan McCoy so far this year?
So I think he has grown a little bit this season. I've seen improvement. Can you guys hear me this time? Is it better?
Yeah, you sound great.
All right, cool.
You look good too, by the way.
Interference over. Oh, hey, thank you. Had to relocate here. Anyways, I think Deegan McCoy has grown some this year. I think we've seen a little improvement from him over the course of the season. And, like Heath said, I really actually am looking forward to seeing him play here for a couple more years. I think in 2 years, he's going to be a fantastic quarterback. And I think, if we can keep him and the other younger good players on our team here and happy, with all the shenanigans of changing schools, whatever, if we keep everybody here and keep them happy, I think we stand to have a really fantastic ball team here in a couple of years. So I'm happy with how he has progressed through the season as a quarterback, especially as young as he is.
Yeah, and rounding out the quarterback list right now, Billy Dunn from Escambia, who didn't have a good outing against Crestview last week, 21-6 loss to the Bulldogs, and J.D. Brown, who had a good week last week against, I forget who they were playing. I think, they played Freeport, I believe. They beat it 50-9 over Freeport, so I believe that's right. Yeah, that's right. That's accurate. And then moving on to receiving leaders, Julius Miles and Hunter Riley Renfro from Baker have been absolutely outstanding. If you look at their total receiving yards, which is not here, we use our scoring composite. Julius Miles has about 800 yards receiving. Riley Renfro has about 600 yards receiving, and then everyone below him has about 400 yards receiving. So they've separated themselves from the pack from pretty much everyone. Caden Jasso has been Jalen Brown's #1 target at Catholic, and he's doing really well, followed by Darrell Westby, Grant Gilmore from South Walton, and Robert Oliver also checks in as well. And I learned that some news that Max Roche will be playing tonight. Apparently he had a hand injury last week, and apparently Hunter and Heath, this is some news to you, but he'll be wearing a club tonight at tight end on one of his hands.
Just put some stick him on there. You'll be fine. He'll be doing some one-handed catches there.
Look, if he does one-handed catch against this Milton Panthers defense, I'm going to leave. It's over. I'm just giving up on the night. I'll see you guys when you get home, because the Milton High School is not very far from where I live. The buses have to drive by where I go. But
y'all gonna have a long drive home tonight.
I'm not going to have a long drive home.
Yeah, that 45-minute drive is going to feel like 2 hours.
That bus ride home for the Milton Panthers is going to be great tonight. Whataburger line right outside the high school is going to be long. And, we're going to be thinking pretty high of ourselves as we go into a rivalry game matchup with Pace next week. Moving on to the receiving leaders, Cashin Downs from Escambia is also there. Marquez White, kind of in the same boat as Junior Harris from Destin, has been one of the standout players from this Navarre Raider team. They're playing Pace tonight. Kazon Rochelle from Rutherford and Adam Land round out our top receivers. We will go to commercial. The guy below right here, Hunter Brock, Final Approach Irrigation, will be back to talk about some best offenses, best defenses, and then we will start picking games for this exciting Week 10 of high school football action. So stay tuned to Final Approach to Game Day.
You know your lawn's looking a little bit janky. All those busted up sprinkler heads, dead patches. It's okay though. Final Approach Irrigation's got you. Their experienced and knowledgeable staff will quickly diagnose the problem and get right to work fixing it. Final Approach Irrigation is the best in the game, and they'll keep your lawn looking undefeated this fall. The refs won't be throwing any flags on them. They'll do you right every single time. Absolutely fair and transparent pricing, along with honest work ethic and integrity. Check them out over at finalapproachirrigation.com to get started today. Thanks again to our friends at Final Approach Irrigation for sponsoring this show and making sure you know everything there is to know about high school football here on the Emerald Coast this season.
And we want to thank Hunter Brock and Final Approach Irrigation for sponsoring the show this year. Thank you for pretty much being a part of football action, as you know, we talk about it for the next 10 weeks and hopefully for the next couple weeks more, as more and more teams clinch playoff spots this week and next week. Let's look at that playoff picture real quick. My God, there's sounds. Why is there sound?
Let me guess. Chris is back there behind the scenes pulling all the strings for this still.
I don't know. I don't know what he did. He literally just said, "You're hosting a show. Good luck." And we didn't go through the show at all. But the Halloween music, I think, is fitting for this playoff picture because, like Michael Myers, he's coming, and next week is Halloween. But we wanted to take a look at each district and how they're doing. We'll start with the rural division with Baker. They're a certified lock at this point. They will, if they win tonight, they'll finish their season undefeated in both overall play and district play if they beat Port St. Joe. Moving on to 2A, South Walton and Pensacola Catholic play each other. I think they're certified locks at this point, regardless of how the season goes. They both still have one game left. And then in 2A, we have Rutherford and Bozeman playing tonight. Winner of that game wins District 2A, and they will be going to the playoffs. And North Bay Haven is not far behind them. In Freeport, who's on a 3-game losing streak at this moment. Bless you, Heath.
Excuse me, pardon me. I couldn't turn the volume off quick enough.
Oh, you're fine. They're still in the playoff hunt. They have a game against Walton tonight. 3A is pretty much locked up. Bay is the district champion. West Florida needs to probably win out, but they're right now, I think, an 8 seed, so they're likely to go. And then moving on to a more cluttered picture in 4A. Obviously, right now, District 2 4A, Choctaw is basically head and shoulders above all. Rickards won their matchup last night, so they're probably going to go to the playoffs if they win out the the last game of their season. And then 1 4A is interesting because all 3 teams are still in playoff contention, even though Booker T. Washington is 0-2 in district play. They do not play a district matchup, but the district will be decided tonight as Pine Forest plays Escambia. And then the game that I think is on all of our calendars in District 1-5A, Mosley won last night. They beat Gulf Breeze. Gulf Breeze goes to 0-3 in district play and 0-9 overall. Mosley is going to the playoffs, but Milton and Niceville play tonight. Winner of that game most likely will go to the playoffs, and I think we can all agree that Milton is probably going to win this game. We don't need any comment on that.
But we are going to comment on that.
Yeah, here you go again.
You know, I tell you, it's you know, I look at the stats here. Milton is great running.
Mm-hmm.
They're not a well-balanced offense. You know, you're one-dimensional. So what's going to happen is, you know, I watched the defense couple practice the other day, and they were. I think they nailed the veer down. They're going to shut that down early, and then Milton's going to struggle to pass the ball. Secondary is looking much better going into the last lap or two of the season here. And it's gonna. I'm telling you, it's gonna be one of those things. Niceville's got the balanced offense, and it's gonna be over. I'm telling you, it's just not gonna be.
I said the same thing the other day.
Yeah,
Milton can't do it without a passing game. If they can't pass, it's over. It's over, Collin. Go play in traffic. It's over.
Collin, it's over. Over. I wish I had some sound effects here. I could be like, it's over. It's over.
It's not over till the fat
out there.
It's not over till the fat lady sings. And then in 6A, Pace has won the district title. Crestview and Tate play tonight. Crestview's on a little bit of a winning streak. They won the past 2 games. They beat Navarre. They beat Escambia. Not giving picks away yet, gentlemen, but does Crestview beat Tate and go to the playoffs, or does Tate have something left in the tank to get them in the playoffs? Because right now Tate is sitting at number 9, so they're currently on the outside looking in. Tate needs to win this game to make the playoffs.
Well, look, Crestview is they're like the Cinderella team right now. They have had a great second half of the season, and like I said this last year. I'm saying it this year. They have a ton of talent on that team. and they're just now trying to figure out how to put it together, and it's working out for them. I think ever since that win against Niceville in Niceville, they have found a little bit of mojo to carry them through the rest of the season, and they're going to make the playoffs. I mean, Tate's not going to weather the storm tonight.
Hunter, are you going to take Crestview tonight and go against all your morals as a Niceville fan or a Niceville alum?
You know, I think Crestview might win. I can't remember who I picked for this week, to be honest with you. It's been one of those weeks, man. But
well, I missed the picks. I didn't see them come through as an email, so I was like, "Where are the picks?"
That's not my fault. That was Christopher. Blame him.
Christopher. All right.
Yeah.
He's not here, so we'll blame him anyways.
I got him via text or something.
Yeah.
But
I didn't get that from him.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He did send him out by text. Oh,
did he?
Yeah.
Man.
And he's not even here to defend himself. Yeah.
Well,
he's not even here to defend himself.
I didn't even get it. Yeah.
He's not in the comments. I mean, the last comment we have, Hunter, and you're going to appreciate this one. This goes back to your early technical issues, but I think you need to go back to Verizon, says Maggie.
Yeah. Who's Maggie, by the way? You know Maggie?
No clue.
Okay. Well,
hey, you got a fan out there.
Yeah. You need to go back to
Verizon. One fan.
Hey, it's better than me. I don't even have a one yet. I don't have one follower.
We'll follow you.
Where's your wife, man?
Oh man, probably at Disney. I don't know.
All right.
Mine probably wishes she was at Disney.
Yeah.
Well, moving on to something that might give me a little hope as a Milton fan is our best off defenses for week 10. I know it says week 9. I apologize. But Crestview right now is an S. They're superior tier. Tate, A. Milton, A-. Walton, even though they're sitting at 2-6, that offense has replaced 10 of the 11 starters from last year. But that defense has remained the same. They're A- in Pine Forest, even though they're sitting at 2-5, based on the metrics and the stats available, they are still an A ranked defense. Moving on to the offense, which also gives me no hope because Milton's not a top 5 offense. Bay at A+, which is a surprise because I sat in this office with Christopher yesterday and he was doing the stats and he was absolutely flabbergasted that Bay was the best offense in Northwest Florida, which surprised, I think, everyone. And looking at Bay's numbers this year, they're off to their best start in, I think, 5 years or so. So shout out to what the Bay Tornadoes have turned into a juggernaut this year.
So is that outshining Choctaw's offense right now?
Yeah, every metric that we have, they're the most balanced team in Northwest Florida, passing and running the ball.
So what you're saying is Bay and Choctaw would play. Bay could pull off the W.
I think so. I think any one of these teams, except maybe Baker, because maybe they are a rule team and they would be punching up. But I think Bay, Pace, and Catholic have probably the best shot to beat a Choctaw right now.
Yeah,
no question.
Bay, that's pretty aggressive, but I get it. They're kind of like Crestview, a little Cinderella team. Started off a little rough, but they're coming back and rebounding. So
I'd like to watch Pace Choctaw.
Yeah. I would too. Now,
I think that'd be a good one.
This is the best part of the show because we're now 30 minutes into the show and now things can get heated because we're now picking games. And we'll save Milton-Niceville for last because I want to have all my wits about me as I talk to 2 Niceville homers. But we'll start with Port St. Joe versus Baker. The line is 51 points for Baker. We're not picking the winner for this game. We're actually not picking the line. We're picking whether or not a running clock will be seen tonight. Because I think we all agree that Baker is going to win tonight. So is there a running clock? Yes or no? We'll start with Hunter Brock.
Yes.
Heath.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I saw Baker last week against Freeport, and I got to tell you, over 400 yards rushing by this Baker Gator offense against Freeport, and Justice Baldwin only had to throw it 3 times, and they absolutely dominated both sides of the ball. Port St. Joe has had a down year for the past couple of years. Baker goes undefeated, and they lock themselves in the playoffs. I'd be surprised if the FHSAA leaves an undefeated team out of the playoffs, especially in that rule category where there's 16 teams go in Region 1. So I think Baker wins mighty handily. We'll go on to our first rivalry game on the list. The Choctaw Big Green 8-0 versus Fort Walton Beach 2-6. Now it's very interesting because Rickards won last night. They're 2-1. Fort Walton Beach is currently 1-1 in district play. If Fort Walton Beach somehow manages to win this game, there would be a 3-way tie for first place in the district, and it would go to a shootout. I know we all think that Choctaw is going to win this game handedly, but they have the biggest line in Northwest Florida by Florida high school football at 56 points. Do we see a margin of victory by 56 points tonight? It's a rivalry game. It's a rivalry game for one.
Well, I'll tell you what. I won't say 56 points, maybe 36, but yeah, no, I can't see this going that way.
You know what? I'll take it. 56 was my number in football. I'll take it. Why not? Let's do it.
Look at you going for the gold.
Big baller there.
Yeah, huge baller over there. Tate, Crestview. Tate has had a little bit of a rough stretch since they lost their first game of the season against Milton a couple weeks ago. They lost to Pace a couple of weeks ago, and they've sort of been up and down. They're 1-2 in the past 3 games. They're moving on to a Crestview team who's won the past 2 games. They blew out Navarre, and I guess you can call it 21-6 a blowout against the Escambia. But they're in the middle of a 3-game homestand, the Crestview Bulldogs are, and the Tate Bulldogs are a 10-point favorite to Crestview. I'm taking Tate with I'm taking Crestview with the points, but I think Tate wins this game outright. What say you two?
Crestview all the way.
Hunter?
I'm very torn because I think either one of them could pull it off. I just can't give in. I got to go with Tate.
Wow.
Okay. I mean, I think the thing for Crestview is it is a home game for them, and that does give, I think, in my mind, give you some points. I think their defense is getting hot at the right time. There's still some questions on offense. I think they are still one-dimensional, like Milton. They can really run the ball effectively, but I don't think they can get it done through the air.
Wait! Did you just talk about a vulnerability of Milton here?
I'll get to that later, Heath. I'll get to that later. But right now, I'm talking about Crestview and Tate.
I don't know. My ears perked up when you heard.
Yeah. Your ears perked up. But it wouldn't surprise me if Crestview wins tonight. But I think Tate is the better overall team. I think they have the better defense. I think they have the ability to put it through the air. So I'll take Tate, but Crestview, they're going to win by I would say 3 or 4 points. Booker T. Washington versus Destin. Destin is continuing a very very down year, 1-7, but Junior Harris is still lights out. Booker T. Washington is actually 4-3, not 4-2. They're a 4-point favorite. The last time Destin played in a Escambia County football team, it was Pensacola High, and Pensacola High won 41-7. I don't see anything that is going to change that. So give me Booker T. Washington with the points and with the win. What say you guys?
I'll take Booker as well with the points and the win.
Same.
Moving on to our first sort of rivalry game matchup, we have the Walton Braves at the Freeport Bulldogs. Freeport's on a 3-game slide after starting 5-0. Walton's on a 6-game slide after starting 2-0, but that defense has kept them in close games for the Walton Braves. Freeport has had issues on offense. They faced 3 very tough opponents, and unfortunately, that offense has not lived up to expectations. Carter Nuns has taken a step back. Dylan Lothane has taken a step back. But Julius Miles has still kept his production as one of Northwest Florida's leading receiving options. Florida high school football has Freeport by 5. Christopher actually, I think, chose Walton in this game. And, he talked me into it, so I'm going to choose Walton as well. What say you guys?
I've got to go with Freeport. Just because yards per game, I mean, they're putting up averaging 350, where Walton is 176. A little bit, they're heavy on the pass side, but on the running game, keeping on the ground, they're an even match. I got to go Freeport.
Yeah, I'm sticking with Freeport. I watched them play against South Walton, and it wasn't pretty. I mean, South Walton beat the tar out of them, but I still think they're a decent team, and them versus Walton, I think they're going to come out on top. I think they'll prevail.
All right, and then we'll go on. I know the game that is next. We'll talk about that last, but District 2, 1-2A is up for grabs as the South Walton Seahawks make that long drive to Pensacola to face the Catholic Crusaders. This is a very interesting game. It says Catholic by 18. This is probably for Catholic. This is the second best defense they're going to play all year. I think Pace was the first. And the Catholic actually lost that game 41-20 for South Walton. I think this is their second biggest test after going through Choctaw earlier this year. I know it says Catholic minus 18, but I have a lot of faith in Phil Teza and JD Brown to get things done. So give me South Walton with the win and the upset victory, and they take the district title. What say you guys?
Yes, I agree with that. I think watching those South Walton boys play with Phil Teza out there the other week, I think they want it, and I think they're going to show up and take it.
I'm on the fence with this one here, but I'm going to ride. I'm going to get on the Catholic bandwagon on this one here. I think they're going to hold off and maintain the win and the spread.
All right, and what we all wanted to talk about, the 7-1 Milton Panthers versus the 4-4 Niceville Eagles. We'll talk about that right after this commercial break. So stay tuned, because I don't want to. I'm gonna get railroaded here 2-1 by these Niceville guys. So we'll go to a commercial break, and then we'll talk about this important District 1-5A matchup.
All right.
You know your lawn's looking a little bit janky. All those busted up sprinkler heads, dead patches. It's okay though. Final Approach Irrigation's got you. Their experienced and knowledgeable staff will quickly diagnose the problem and get right to work fixing it. Final Approach Irrigation is the best in the game, and they'll keep your lawn looking undefeated this fall. The refs won't be throwing any flags on them. They'll do you right every single time. Absolutely fair and transparent pricing, along with honest work ethic and integrity. Check them out over at finalapproachirrigation.com to get started today. Thanks again to our friends at Final Approach Irrigation for sponsoring this show and making sure you know everything there is to know about high school football here on the Emerald Coast this season.
All right, so the game we have encircled on our calendars all year at the Mid-Bay News office has finally arrived. October 24th was supposed to be, I think, a great day for the Milton Panthers. I mean, they're being starting 7-1. I thought they would roll pretty easily to a somewhat, a good record, maybe 7-3, 8-2. But you guys think that Niceville is going to win this game somehow and make the playoffs somehow. Florida high school football has Milton as a 29-point favorite, which I will say I took issue with that because it is at the Eagles' Nest. Milton has to travel. Giving up 29 points for Niceville at home is, if you're talking about someone smoking crack, I think Josh Wilson from Florida high school football was smoking crack when he did this supercomputer. Now, the supercomputer has been right 75% of the time this year. So there's a high chance that this spread is correct, but I know you two have.
What you're saying is there's 25% chance it's not.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Look, if there's a piranha in a lake, right, and there's a 75% chance it probably won't bite me, I'm still jumping in the lake, right? I'll take my 75%. I'm going to go last since I am probably the Milton homer. We all know who's picking who. You think Milton is one-dimensional. You think Milton's defense probably isn't all that. I'll start with you guys first. Why does Niceville win this game and then basically win their way into the playoffs?
Well, should we just
pass and run? Just go for it, Heath. Go for it.
I was about to say, do we just go ahead and gang up on him now and
go ahead,
beat him into submission? Yeah. And to where he just says, yes, guys, you're right. Milton they're not going to win. I get it. The Eagles are going to win. Got it. You're right. I mean, I'll tell you what, they are one-dimensional, and Collin has openly admitted that he sees the flaw in the offense here. They don't have much of a passing game, but they can run the ball. And if you run the ball, you can control the clock, okay? So that's key now, all right? That works to Milton's advantage. If you can control the clock and put up points, you can win a ball game. However, if you can't do that and you're getting 3 and outs, Niceville can move the ball both in the air and on the ground. And they're very dangerous when they are when Deegan is clicking on all cylinders with not only his receivers and his running backs. So on average, these guys aren't too far apart in points per game. There's only about 20 points or 20 yards separating them, but it's at home. Niceville is on a redemption tour right now because they know they have an opportunity to make the playoffs. And tonight is the night that you're going to see these kids playing with all their heart and soul. They're going to shut down the veer, and they're going to persevere. Wow, that should be a bumper sticker. Shut down the veer and persevere.
Hunter, what do you think about?
Heath is right. I'm not gonna beat a dead horse about we can run and pass, and you guys, y'all are just running over there. I mean, what y'all pass for, like 3 yards or something last game? I don't know. Anyways, we'll leave that alone, okay? But I'm sitting here. I had to relocate. I was over by the weight room here at Niceville, which those of you that may or may not know is at the top of the steps on the visitor side of the stadium. And on the side of the weight room, I can see it from where I'm sitting right here, there's 2 very large white signs. And at the top of both of those signs, it says playoffs. And there's all these numbers, right? All those numbers are all the years that Niceville's gone to the playoffs. So every player on that team has to look at that board every single day, all right? And every one of them wants to get their number on that board. Tonight is the night. Tonight is their chance. We're at home. They see that board. It's Niceville. We're on a redemption streak. Take your 3-yard passing and go home. It's over. It's over.
Oh, I love it. I love it. All right, Collin, tell us why you think Milton just by sheer luck will win this game tonight.
It's my turn.
Keyword luck.
Okay, it's not going to be luck. So here's the thing: I've seen this Milton team twice this year.
Oh my goodness!
Once against Crestview, and they had the drive of their lives to force overtime and win that game. And then the next game I saw was versus Gulf Breeze, and we all know that Gulf Breeze hasn't been the best competition for anyone this year. I've seen improvement by this Milton team week after week, and the only thing that concerns me is that last week Milton played host to West Florida High and squeaked by in a thrilling matchup. And I would say the only reason that West Florida didn't tie that game up late was it was, I think, about 2 minutes left in the game, and West Florida had the ball maybe on the 25-yard line, but they went for it on 4th down. And it was a corner route to the end zone. The wide receiver beat, I think, the Milton DB. I can't remember his name. Fortunately for the Milton defense, it was overthrown, and the game was sealed with that. So that gives me some pause because I don't think that I think that Niceville is a better team than West Florida. And I think we can agree with that statement. I think West Florida's had some ups and downs, but I think Niceville's more talented on paper. What gives me hope for Milton this week is that I think for Niceville, when you look at the stats on paper, Milton is the second best defense that Niceville is going to be playing all year. And we all know what happened when the best defense they played all year came to the Eagles' Nest. They got smoked 42-7. But Milton runs the veer, and and so far, except one team has been able to stop it, and that's Mosley. Ever since then, but they still have about 250 yards rushing. Katie Hall is getting better and better as a passer. The passing percentage goes up week to week to week. I'm going to say Milton wins this very closely. It's not going to be 29 points. I'm going to say maybe 7 or 8 points. But Milton wins this game. And regardless of what happens tonight, I want to make sure that we're all still going to be friends after this week because it's just high school football. But let's just say that this Milton team, for what 2024 was, right? This team was 0-10. Coach Douglas comes over, takes the helm of this Milton Panthers team, in pretty much the same roster. They're now 7-1, knocking on the door of a playoff spot. And I think for Milton, granted, they're now currently 4th in the District 1-5, the 5A region, the standings. But I honestly don't think them losing this game takes them out of playoff contention. I think it helps Niceville more, but Milton certainly has I think a tougher strength of schedule than Niceville's had this whole year, especially with pace being so good. And so, is it going to be a running clock tonight? No. But will I be on the Milton sidelines tonight cheering my butt off at every play? Yes, I will, except when I have to do my job. But when you guys drive home tonight and you think to yourselves, dang, why couldn't Niceville just make one good play to stop Milton's defense? Because I think they get over 400 yards rushing tonight. I think Katie Hall goes for 150 yards passing. I think it's going to be like watching
Did you say 150 yards passing?
150 yards passing.
And 400 yards rushing.
Yeah, I think it's
going to be. So, Collin, if I'm hearing you right, Milton's just going to be on the field just running up and down by themselves then to get those kind of yardage because, look, I feel like you're on a first date and you're trying to serenade us a little bit here and warm us up a little bit and, hey, everything's going to be just fine. I'm really a good guy here. Things are going to be just kumbaya when we're all done here. But, look, Eddie Haskell here. I know I'm really showing my age. Yeah. Thanks for the coffee and donut, but I got to pass here. Move on to the next date here.
Look, I basically rambled for 6 minutes just to kill time.
Yes, and I appreciate that.
Because here's the thing.
I felt your heartfelt sentiments about how emotional and passionate you are that this is going to be a Panther win at the Eagle Nest, and we're all going to be running out of there crying and poor Collin's not going to want to be around me.
Here's what I think. I think when Niceville wins, Collin, we can go to Whataburger and Blue Water out here, and you can tell us if the lines are any better than they are in Milton when you guys win, because y'all aren't going to have a line at home tonight.
Oh my God! Look, I will say as someone who's lived in Milton for my whole life, the Milton Whataburger, mind you, it's good, but the waits are so long that we go to the one in Pace because it's a shorter wait. I got to be honest with you, but
ouch.
The way I'm sorry, but the way I see this Milton team, for anyone who hasn't seen this Milton team play before, and it's in Milton. I don't blame you. The closest team comparison I can say is it's Crestview, right? They practically run the same style of offense. Milton just has the veer, and that's pretty much what they run 98% of the time. Does Milton have a better offense than Crestview? Yes. I think the pieces are just they fit together all year. Milton has only thrown the ball when they needed to, whereas I think Crestview's had to throw the ball out of necessity. But this defense, I think, will keep Milton in the game. And I don't think it's going to be – if it's a shootout tonight, then it's going to be a problem for Milton because I don't think they can keep up. But I think what Ronnie Douglas has been able to do with this triple option offense that has – look, when you guys see the power eye run out of the gun formation, it's going to knock your socks off, let me tell you. Because I saw that in Gulf Breeze and I couldn't believe it. But what you will be amazed by is how many times can they get playmakers the ball in the playmakers' hands. Right now, against West Florida High, 11 players took snaps with the ball last week. So a lot of people got their hands on the football last week, and West Florida Tech had problems stopping them. Do I think it? And would I be foolish to say that Milton's going to blow out this team by 29 points? Yes, it would be very foolish for me to say that. Does Milton win by 7 points? I could see it. I think everyone here can see it. I think Milton on paper is probably the better team. But it's at the Eagles Nest, and Niceville is their backs against the wall. They have to win this game for them to have a playoff shot. So
Collin, talking about that's a good segue into it too. What does this look like? For a lot of people don't understand. If Niceville wins, what does that mean for the playoffs? Does now all three of them have a chance to go? I mean, what's the background with that? Yeah,
so for District 1 and 5A right now, it's Gulf Breeze is obviously out Mosley is your district champion, and with the current FHSAA rankings, Milton is 4th and Niceville is 8th. So for Niceville to lose this game, that would obviously knock them out of the top 8, and they would probably be somewhere 9th or 10th. For Milton, they could probably lose this game and stay in the top 8. The problem that they're going to run into is they play Pace next week. And it's going to be Pace at Pace, and it's a rivalry game. Now, the last time we saw Milton play Pace, it was, I think, 49-0 Pace. It was pretty bad. The last time Milton played Niceville was 42-7 Niceville. Niceville blew them out last year, but this is a completely different team from last year. So, and Niceville plays Navarre to end their season. So if you're talking based on strength of schedule, and maybe we may talk to Josh Wilson next week, depending on how the game turns out. But if Niceville, let's say Niceville wins this game, but Milton beats Pace, would you put Milton in by beating Pace? Because obviously that's the tougher opponent, whereas Niceville only has Navarre to end their season. So,
well, that's where you kind of get into strength of schedule obviously plays into it. But then again, winning your conference outright or your division outright is obviously the way to go. But if you're jockeying for second place and an opportunity to go into it, so how does that really, when the Florida High School Association comes in and says, strength of schedule is going to be the determining factor, even though Niceville beat Milton, but you know what? Milton's going to get the ticket to the playoffs. Is that a likely scenario, or is it going to be like, hey, you know what? Mosley beat Milton, Niceville beat beat Milton. Now that we let them go into the playoffs,
you have to look at what District 1-4A is right now, because District 1-4A has teams who've had up and down years. Pine Forest and Escambia. Oh, let me just pull up the power rankings. Hope the playoff thing. Hopefully, Freddie doesn't. Michael Myers doesn't haunt me. Hold on.
Yeah.
There
you go. Yeah. So you mentioned that in the 4A there. There's you got three wild cards right there. Who control their destiny. And that's kind of where we're at, too, with Niceville and Milton. Who really controls your destiny? I mean, I think a win definitely helps tonight with Niceville, but with the strength of schedule, does that just kind of go, you know what, Milton, even though you might have lost, you're still going to get the seed?
Well, I think it's what Josh said a couple weeks ago on our show, is that they look at the entire resume with strength of schedule. Like for Crestview, what hurts them is that they started this season 0-3, pretty much 0-2. They had 4 tough. I mean, they had Milton, Choctaw to open their season, and that was really rough for them. Niceville had a pretty rough opening to their season as well. They lost week 1 out of the gate to Lincoln, who's now actually they lost last week to Childs, so they actually moved back to 7. Niceville also has losses to Choctaw, which obviously will help them with the strength of schedule. They have losses to Crestview. They have a loss to Mosley, which was an overtime, by the way. And all these losses except Choctaw have been very close. They're not like blowout losses. I think if they were blowout losses to Crestview and they were blowout losses to Mosley, I think Niceville would have a harder time saying we deserve a playoff spot if we beat Milton. But for Milton, looking at their strength of schedule, they beat Tate, who's sitting at 5-2 right now. They beat Booker T. Washington, who's sitting at 4-3 right now. If let's say what helps them is they need Crestview to win out to help them with their strength of schedule. They need Booker T. Washington to win out to help on their strength of schedule. And if, let's say, Pace loses the next 2 games, that might hurt the Milton strength of schedule, because Pace is on the downward slide. So I don't know where the FHSA would look at a Niceville loss and keep them in the playoffs, because it looks like 5A as a whole is very top heavy, and 6, 7, and 8 are very fluid. Anyone can jump in there. But it'll be very interesting to see. But all I know from this game is that I think if Niceville wins tonight, which is very likely, I'm not going to say that Milton blows out. I've taken my chances because I think Christopher did the thing, and I'm like 2-6 picking against Niceville this year. I don't know why I tipped against Niceville 4 times, but remember I picked Gulf Breeze to beat Niceville. Remember that?
Yeah, that was a little below average in head work, I thought, on your part.
Yeah, I mean,
Definitely.
If anyone was smoking crack that week, it was me. It's weird. Christopher should be watching, but he hasn't posted anything about this conversation. I thought he'd say Eagles by 1 million. But it'll be very interesting to see how this game, how the FHSA sees this game on Tuesday when the rankings come out. Because if Milton loses by 3, would you still put them in the playoffs? Like at 7-2? It's 7. Let's say a 7-3 team. Would you leave Milton out if they're 7-3? And the only losses are to Niceville, Mosley, and Pace. Like that's pretty good strength of schedule.
Yeah, it is. I will say that this is a very emotional night for obviously the Mid-Bay News team here reporting because it's going to be these kids have at Niceville. Watching them come together mid-season, the way they've done, I think they've overcome some adversity too. With I know we talked about the change in the leadership and just kind of and learning some new things. These kids are really, really have what it takes to finish out the season really strong and compete, for the postseason spots. And I think, for, Collin too, it's an emotional thing because you're 7-1, a loss would be just devastating at this point. You've come this far in the season to sit there and go, wow, we get here and we're like, oh, we lose. So, I think it's going to be one of these things. It's going to be a really great game, no matter how it shakes out. But I do think, it's going to be it's not being more than maybe 2 touchdowns, if that, but it is going to be a hard fought game in the trenches. And it's going to be great entertainment. And I tell you what, there's going to be a lot of people on the edge of their seats tonight as these guys go back and forth because they both can move the ball. They both got some pretty good, strong defenses. Either way you shake it, I'm looking forward to an exciting night of football here in Niceville.
Hunter, final thoughts for you on this game and this week overall?
Yeah, this is going to be a very good game. I think it's going to be a close game. I'm taking like 1 score. I think it's going to be a 1 possession game, honestly. I'm definitely not saying either team by 1 million. I'm looking forward to seeing what's happening. I agree with Heath here. I think, our team, Niceville, has grown a lot as the season has progressed. I'm happy to see how they're doing, how they're playing. Just the other week, we took Mosley to overtime. So I'm happy where we are as a team going into this game. And I will say, Milton does stand a chance to win, but I think Niceville takes it. So we'll see. I think it's going to be, very entertaining. It's going to be hard fought. It's going to be a close game. So everybody come out and watch it. And let's see what happens.
Yeah, and my final thoughts is I'll start the game on the Milton sideline taking photos. But if I see things going one way, you'll see me slowly make my way back to the Niceville side of the field.
What you're saying is you're going to ride the fence on this one here. I'm either going to be a true Milton Panther fan, Mid-Bay News reporter.
Yeah, see, it's weird because Christopher pays me to love Niceville, and the paycheck is way more important than the alumni status. But if Milton loses this year or loses this game and loses to Pace, which I think is the most likely outcome, because Pace is just a juggernaut. I mean, shout out to Coach Ronnie Douglas and that entire Milton staff for the impressive turnaround that Milton has undergone the past couple weeks. I don't think anyone here at the beginning of this season would say that this game would have been important as it was. We had no idea how good Milton was with this roster. It went 0-10. The 7-1 was not in my expectations. 5-5 maybe, somewhere around there. But for both teams to be knocking on the door, and vastly two different things. Niceville is sort of in this rebuilding phase. Young team, Obviously, the future is very bright with Deegan McCoy getting better, Jacoby Gilliard getting better, some key guys on defense getting better and older and wiser. But for this Milton team, led by Katie Hall, who's not a quarterback, he is a defensive back first. For him to be put in this position where he has to run this option offense has been outstanding. So credit to Coach Ronnie Douglas and the Milton High coaching staff. But I am looking forward to a very interesting game. Usually I say Panthers by 1 million, but not this week. I'm tempering my expectations, and regardless of the outcome, there will be a Whataburger, because it's just what a burger should be at the end of the night. So I may have to take you up on that Blue Water Bay offer, and we'll compare. But thank you guys for joining us on week 10 of Final Approach to Game Day. We will be back next Friday to wrap up the regular season. I can't believe the season has flown by. And then we'll be talking playoffs, which I think is going to be a very exciting time for our show. So for Hunter Brock, for Heath Romiger, I am Collin Bester. Thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you at the game.